Lao Lawrence McElroy here for Water Tiger School of Taiji Chuan. We are back and sort of on schedule. We're in the Qigong aspect of our shuffle between Qigong and Tai Chi topics. We'll talk about that a little bit as we get going. Since this, has been a thing since day one, this is World Tai Chi Day t-shirt from 2006, the first year we ever started buying them from worldtaichiday.org. Pretty much ever since. They've repeated some designs a couple of times, and we haven't, well, at least I haven't purchased one for myself. But anyway, so this is only the second time since we started in March of 2020 that I've worn this shirt. The other time was November 16th of 2020. It's our only YouTube live video. We're having issues with Facebook Live, and so we tried YouTube Live, and we kind of had the same issues. So we went to pre-recorded events for Sachem. It was one of our focus of variety is the spice of life. It was one of our lottery videos. It was Mr. Roboto that I last wore this shirt. So anyway, kind of getting to the meat of the video today. We're going to start with a piece of Shibashi. And as we've been saying, we found that probably the right pronunciation is actually Shibashi, but nobody really uses that. Everybody usually says Shibashi. So opinions vary as to if it translates to 18 or 18 movements or whatever, but it is 18 movements. Depending upon your source, there are either 6 or 8 complete sets of 18. Since the 8 comes from the founder's website, I'm going to go with the 8. And this is the 14th movement, punching, or punching in horse stance. You'll notice punching as a theme as I keep talking. I also like to point out that it's sort of, I don't know, I suppose ironic in a way, because in this set, in the order of the exercises, punching follows what most would consider an archetypal image of peace. In our approach to the set, it follows what is called dove spreads its wings. And it's sandwiched between dove and another bird, flying wild goose. But anyway, so we'll do that. And then we're going to continue with our diversity in Qigong, which was the last Qigong video. We approached pieces or a piece from the standing A piece of Brocade, Duan Jen. And it was, for us, draw the bow to shoot the hawk. So our name for the 7th piece of Brocade is Screw the Fist with Fiery Eyes. So we're going to look at a handful of different approaches to that. Some of them will be very similar. As a matter of fact, 2 of them will look pretty close, sort of, to the Shibashi exercise. So anyway, as you probably know, over the years, if you've been following the channel, finish my mint here, we really, did I mention really, embrace that there's strength in diversity. And it's always interesting to explore how people do this stuff differently, if for no other reason, to confirm our way is, for us, the way to go. So we'll start with the Shibashi piece. I'm just doing this. This isn't part of the set. This is just, again, if you've been following us for a while, it's like one of my favorite things to do. So in punching, in the Shibashi set, 2 things I need to point out. One, there's a hold of the breath if you can do it. The punch is extended on the exhalation. There's a breath hold. You rotate the wrist, bring the punch back in on the inhalation, and then go to the other side. 2, that generally most people will do that punch, and it's fully extended and shoulder height. We like to keep it, when we do it, down a little bit, so it's more chest height, and you can see there's a slight opening in the elbow. That, to Water Tiger School, is important. You'll see that too in one of the secondary, or our secondary approach to the standing 8 piece of brocade. We have our own, and then we picked up another approach to the set, which is still quite powerful, but less strenuous than our own set. So breathe when you have to. I'm going to chamber the fist, palm up, lightly closed, at about hip level, not sort of mid torso, but kind of hip level. We're going to start up high, so chamber them maybe on an inhalation, so you can come up. And then as you exhale, tighten the fist slightly. As you exhale and extend out again, hold the breath if you can. Inhale and draw back up. And notice, exhale, that I'm sinking down slightly in kind of a standard, again, hold the breath, rotate, inhale. Stance. So I'm not broadly beyond my shoulder width. Exhale, hold the breath, inhale, second to the first side. Exhale. So we get a little leg pump here. Anytime you bend your knees in any sort of squatting or lunging position, you start to activate the lungs and the heart. Each of the Shibashi pieces has quite a long list of potential therapeutic qualities, but we generally like staying with just sort of communicating that the entire set for good from beginning to end, or any of the individual pieces, are good for calming the mind, so stress reduction and general health and well-being. With all that talking, as per usual, I lost my count, but I feel like one more pair after this one is probably enough to get to the meat of our focus. So here's the last one. Now, Shibashi has its own sort of closing process, gathering and balancing the chi. But we'll just do our standard Water Tiger School style close. The weight's currently evenly divided. I'm going to settle my vertical. I'm going to settle my vertical alignment, crown point of the head, base of the pelvic bowl, over the ball of the right foot. My hands are going to float up as the hands come in. Actually, the settling should have happened as my arms were floating up. That's what happens when I talk and move at the same time sometimes. Boom. And that's kind of our standard closing. So again, from this position, this settles the weight over the right foot. Hands coming in brings in that left foot. Hands pressing down, presses the heel down. And a little rebound either down into the body or up out of it to pull the hands to the acupuncture point for the Shiadan Tian. And there you go. Our warm-up, a little piece of Shibashi, the 14th piece, or exercise from the first set, by the way, of Shibashi punching, or punching in horse stance. So, Water Tiger School's approach: 1, fiery, screw the fist with fiery eyes, is not meant to reflect anger. We know from elsewhere in our approach to the set that chi imbalances and blockages and stagnation, that sort of thing, can be rooted in too much embracing of the 7 strong emotions: happiness, anger, sorrow, joy, love, hate, and desire. Anger is one of those. So I don't want to punch with anger. I don't want to have any emotional attachment to my target. So the person who recently cut you off in traffic, you don't want to picture their face as the target that you're punching in whichever way we're going to punch through the afternoon. That would be my suggestion, whichever approach we do. But there are pieces, approaches that discuss that idea, that this exercise is meant with its impact of dealing with the liver, which is tied to the emotion of anger, to help us release inappropriate anger and give us a better pathway to embracing appropriate anger, because all the emotions are, important and usable as long as we don't go to the extreme. But anyway, our approach is credited to Marshall Yue. He was 12th century. I didn't have them put that on the cue cards. And originally it said that there were 12 pieces of brocade, and it was later trimmed down to 8. And we have what we refer to as the poetry of the set, which are really sort of the original instructions. And I'm just going to read this off the cue card. Screw the fist with fiery eyes to increase chi strength. Healthy body, healthy mind. The spirit of vitality, calm. Ride the horse. Straighten the chest. Fist or palm, important note. Strike with force, left, right. 2 hands grasp. 2 hands turn. Grasp, hold, fiery eyes. Harness, chi. Again, chi, strength. So I pointed out fist or palm. We don't have any approach in our collection in the video today that uses a palm strike. But according to these original, the poetry, that you can do this with the closed fist or a palm strike as you play this set. So again, as I mentioned, it's good for the liver, creates appropriate balance in the liver to make it possible to express anger in an appropriate way, reduces stress, strengthens concentration, and is good for the prevention of arthritis in the hands, wrists, and elbows. I do want to point out that our version, Screw the Fist with Fiery Eyes, was the warm-up for a previous video. It's in the Water Tiger for Sachem playlist, January 4th of 2021. It was the warm-up for one of our floor exercises, one of our combined posture walks back then. So our approach, Screw the Fist with Fiery Eyes. Some notes. I'm beyond shoulder width. My knees are my quad is pretty flexible. That's where I should have started. So my toes are going to be out, so my knees track out. So that's one thing. If you don't have an open quad, then you'll probably be closer together. And if your toes are forward, then your knees are forward. We feel at Water Tiger School, anytime you do a squat, even though it's a Qigong squat in this instance, that it's best to keep the weight in the heels. Now, since I am not bending as I do this, if I were doing like a physical training squat, then in that case, if I was doing that, then you don't want the knees to pass the toes. You really kind of want the knees just really kind of over the ankles, and maybe a little bit into the top of the foot, but not much. But here, what we're going to do is find a depth that we can sit down into and still be upright. Crown point of the head still over the base of the pelvic bowl, still centered between the weight. So we don't lean forward. So you want to find where your flexibility allows you to do that. We're just going to do about 3 repetitions. We have a nice hold at the end of the punch. Breathe when you have to. The expansion of chi begins as you settle into the squat, continues until the compression begins when you start to rise up out of the squat. And that can carry through several inhalations and several exhalations. So we start higher. Hands in lightly closed fists on more or less on both sides of the acupuncture point for the Xia Dantian. I'm going to go left first. Fiery eyes means intense, by the way. Since it doesn't mean anger, you want to look with intensity. Pan Chen Fu, right? That's his name. Chin Fu, Pan Chin Fu, would say hit first with eyes. So the first repetition, screw the fist with fiery eyes. As I set, I'm going to start turning. I'm leading with the proximal phalanges, so I'm not back fisting here, leading like this is the nose of the airplane, also pulling back on my right hand, slowly across my belly. And I should get that hand to sort of the front of my right hip at the same time my squat is done, my punch is done, and my turn is done. I'm still expanding energy, and then I release. And ideally, coming up out of the squat, turning forward, and bringing both hands back to where they started should all end at the same time. Screw, twisting. Two hands turn. Turning to look to the other side of the space, leading with the proximal phalanges. My finish point for my forearm, it's an upward punch. And I'm striking through the target. And imagining striking through the target. And then release and rise. It's like that kind of standard, it's the word trope, right? In the old Sunday afternoon classic kung fu movies, where the young apprentice, second to the first side, is learning to punch. And the teacher says, no, you're striking the surface of the target. Strike through. Second to the first side. Release and rise. I'm going to stay probably with the theme for all but the last approach with 3 repetitions each, because the last approach is specifically 1 in each position. And let me tell you, that does not make that approach any easier. Release and rise. I want to feel the muscular activation. The muscles can be pressing into the surface of the skin, as can the tendons, but they shouldn't be popping through. Last, screw the fist with fiery eyes to the first side. Release and rise. Last, screw the fist with fiery eyes to the second side. Still expanding, still breathing. Release and rise. And once I come forward on that one, release the hands, left to left, right to the right, floaty. I'm going to shuffle or step both feet back to my standard shoulder width, because I'm not going on to the next piece, which in our set would be inside of shoulder width. And then once again, up and out settles the weight into the right foot. In brings the left foot in. Down settles the weight. And a little rebound. There's one down. Screw the fist with fiery eyes. The second approach has the name punch with eye of tiger. And the health benefit that's listed in this particular set from the source material is strengthens the whole body. This is the one I mentioned at the top of the session of the video that'll look a lot like our warm-up. There are some differences. I'm going to step a little bit wider. I still have the pump. It's another one where they do, I think I mentioned this too, they do a full extension. we're not. We're going to keep it the same place we did with the Shibashi. And the flow is continuous, unlike the Shibashi piece where we finished, we held our breath for this, and then inhale. This is a simple exhalation out, inhalation in. Punch with Eye of Tiger, 3 pairs. I'm going to do left first. Some of the approaches specify right. If they don't, then I would always go left first. It's just a standard for Water Tiger School. So find an inhalation, and then exhale, and just a little pump here, and inhale. I'm going to quit looking right into the camera because I have to look with Eye of Tiger. Exhale, inhale. And though it's not really specified in the source material, we do the same thing that we did in our approach, or we do the same thing we just described in our approach, where it's a little bit looser fist here and a little bit tighter here. So you can see, compared to the first approach, ours, Water Tiger School, this is much less intense. And come back once again to shoulder width, left foot to right. Two. So the next, punching with angry gaze to increase strength and chi. This one too is sort of similar, but also sort of different. It's a deeper sink with some of the same type of movement. And we're going to get into it with sort of a, what's the word I'm looking for? I can't remember what the word is I'm looking for. That's embarrassing. I'm going to step out to the right. We're going to punch first with the right. So, oops, this is unusual for me. I'm so accustomed to stepping to the left. I'm going to step to the right. And another difference here is as I release that right fist, I'm going to turn it immediately to palm fist down, and extend it out and sink down lower, and then bring it back in. And then again, twist and extend out. That's another thing that's really kind of difficult to do since this isn't something I do on a regular basis. As I was preparing, I kept wanting to do what I'm accustomed to doing, which is twist into the final palm fist down position as I'm punching. And it should actually happen before I sink, but notice on the way back in, it turns all the way. So I twist and then sink. This is actually the end of the third pair, but we'll do one more pair to make that point clear. I twist and then sink. Fully extend. That too is difficult for me. Twist and then sink. And back in. Bringing that right foot back. And then a little cleansing, a little clearing to let go of any inappropriate anger. There's 3. Thrusting with fists and making eyes glare to enhance strength and chi. So this is another one. I'm going to step right and punch right. And I'm going to step right as I clench. And notice, thus far, ours on either side of the Xia Dan Tian, palm fist up. Punch with eye of tiger, palms up. And punching with angry eyes to increase strength and chi, palm side up. When I clench my fists, as I step out to the right, notice they're vertical in this position. And they will end in a vertical punch like Water Tiger School, and it's a full extension. So this one has a couple of different parts. I'm staying at the same height. I'm not sinking down and pumping up. From the right first, I'm going to extend out. I'm going to hold that for a beat or two. Glaring. Open the palm. So notice it's sort of starfished here. Turn the palm down. Wrap. And pull it back into place. I'm going to punch second to the first side. I'm going to glare. I'm going to quit glaring at you guys. The spread. Turn down. Twist. And pull back in. That's one pair. Here's 2. First side. Spread. Turn. Twist and close. Pull back in to a vertical position above the hip at belly height. Punch. Glare. Twist. Grab. Second to the first side. Punch. Or second to the second side, sorry. Open. So this is the third to the first. Turn. Twist. Close. Into a vertical position at the waist. Last to the first side. Open. Spread. Twist. Twist back and palm up. Close. Pinky ring, middle index, thumb. And close in. And then simply right foot back. I'm just going to give this a moment. And down. So, not everybody names these. They may just say, this is the standing 8 piece of brocade, and then go through it without naming it. I suppose that's, the great Tao cannot be named. However, unlike the previous with draw the bow, there were at least a couple, one I know, that had draw the bow in a different position in the flow of the 8. Across the board, every video we looked at, every source we looked at, had this as the 7th piece of brocade. So this one is unnamed. Hands are going to start at the belly. I'm going to step left, doing a movement like this, and then into fists. And here again, palms are going to be up. And oddly enough, on this one, that's the end of the punch. So, a usual vertical fist is here. This is the end of the extension. And then comes back in. Again, there's no pump here. Actually, a right pump is first, though I step to the left. So, boom, Oops, sorry. Let me do that again. Not up. That was the closing of the third piece. So in, I open up a little bit, come this way, and then around and in, palm up. I'm going to punch right first. Twist and in. The other thing that I'm going to do is now, notice how I came down with that. I should have watched it go out the first time. Now I'm going to switch to this side. I'm going to watch it go out. I'm going to watch it close and come in. I'm going to go back to the first side. I'm going to watch it go out, twisting all the way out. Palm facing out, upside down vertical fist. Open and twist. I'm going to bring it back in. Second to the first, second to the second. I'm going to watch it go out. Twist. Close. Watch it come in. Third to the first. Open and twist, watch it close. Draw it in. Third to the second, watch it go out. Open, close. Watch it come in. Then I'm going to bring my left foot back in. And I'm going to draw earth energy. But as I come up, I have this little shimmy. And then no shimmy on the way down. I'm going to repeat that. Oops, got to get the shimmy in. Twice is the normal, but since I didn't do the shimmy at the beginning of number 2, let's do 3. So I'm just rolling my hips forward and back, both left and right, then nothing on the way down. Again, and give my wrists, hands, and everything a moment. And then release. Now let's see. Screw the fist with fiery eyes. 1. Punch with eye of tiger. Punching with an angry glare to increase strength and chi. Thrusting the fists and making eyes glare to enhance strength and chi. Unnamed. Now, clenching fists with angry eyes, angry gaze, sorry. This one is even more intense than water tiger skulls. However, this is the one that I mentioned at the top of the video. Only 1 repetition each. The holds should really be longer than I'm going to do them, because I don't want anybody to faint. The beginning to get into it, a little complicated, right? But not bad. I'm going to shift the weight into the right to step to the left and bring my hands to my right side in a certain configuration. Here goes nothing. So as I step to the left, I'm going to turn my left hand palm up, pointing it to the right. My right hand's going to be palm down, fingertips mostly forward. So there's my step to the left. I'm deep, but probably not as deep as the source material. I'm going to turn to my left. Notice I'm rounding the palm out. Then I'm going to come up, turning the right palm up, out into this position. And then I'm going to circle around and draw the fist in, but higher than the hip. So I'm kind of more solar plexus height here. I'm going to start with the left. And again, on this first part, the forward punches, I'm going to look to my left fist. I'm going to slowly, isometrically extend it fully and out. I'm going to hold. Still breathing. I'm going to bend the arm slightly. I'm going to open the palm, thumb down. I'm going to push it out. And I'm going to hold. Wow, my pinky is really vibrating. Then slowly turn that hand. Slowly close it. And watch it come in. I'm going to turn. Guess what? Slowly. Look at the right hand. Slowly and isometrically extending it. Bend the arm slightly. Thumb side down. Extend the palm. Notice that means from the original instructions, I'm doing both fist and palm. Subtly. Turning. Closing. Pulling back in. Slowly looking up and to my left. Now I'm looking left. I'm not going to watch the left fist extend. But punching out, fully extended, that was a little fast. To my left. I'm going to hold. Bend the arm slightly. Thumb side down. Palm. Rotate. Pinky ring, middle index, thumb. Slowly bring it in. Again, not watching it come in. Back to that higher position. Slowly turn to look to the right. Again, I'm turning pretty fast. Not watching the punch. Isometrically extending that right fist. I have a little shoulder impingement on this side. So in a moment here, my release and pump is okay. But my twist and my close could be better. And again, I'm just looking to the right, not watching the closed fist pull back in. Now I'm going to turn slowly and look forward. Left to the left, right to the right. Extending out. Isometrically. Holding. Breathing. Am I glaring? Pump both arms. Open the palms. Extend out, thumb side down. Turn both pinky, ring, middle, index, thumb, isometrically pulling both of them back. Again, mid-torso height instead of hip height. Both extend forward. Let me do that, start that again, because I want to go slower. Well, I don't want to go slower. To be honest with you, I'd like this to be over. Right out, shoulder height, palm fist down, regular horizontal punch. Release and pump both arms, open up both hands. Palms out, thumb side down. Twisting both. Pinky, ring, middle, index, thumb. As I draw in both of these, I'm going to turn the fists. I'm going to bring the fists in close together, knuckle to knuckle. Elbows start to point up and out. Forearms angled down. Open the hands. Press down. Come up. Hands at about chest level. Bring the left foot back in. Down. And one more or less emotion associated with drawing earth energy. And down. I'm going to do, not a water tiger school closing, but I am going to let the fingertips turn forward for a moment. Palms floating. That doesn't mean high. That just means wrists are activated so the palms are downward. And let the wrists relax. And there's the sixth and final. Clenching fists with an angry gaze. So some of those similar to one another, especially the warm-up, the second one, punch with eye of tiger, and the third one, punching with an angry glare to strengthen, to enhance strength and chi, I think, right? But anyway, different, interesting, intensity at different levels. Ours, I always thought, was pretty darn strenuous. And then I was, as we started thinking about doing this and doing research, and we ran across the Shaolin-based set that was the last example in Draw the Bow to Shoot the Hawk, and our last example or sample this afternoon. There's some intensity there. So, hope you enjoyed it. Hope you found it interesting. If nothing else, that's sort of the point of this, to kind of trigger your curiosity, to sort of explore what's out there. We had our World Tai Chi Day at the end of April, and there's a lot of variety between the Qigong and the Tai Chi. And it's really nice to see that group. We had representatives from 7 different programs. We had 8 facilitators. 2 of the facilitators were from the same program. And there's the old joke about how many Tai Chi players or Qigong players in this instance does it take to screw in a light bulb? And it's like only one, but everybody else stands around and says their way is better. No, our people don't do that. They believe in the strength of diversity. Everybody has a different path. So I'll get off my soapbox. I'll tell you that hopefully in 3 weeks we'll be back with a Tai Chi topic. We're looking at a walking exercise that we haven't done that actually is brand new to Water Tiger School, but we'll save, that reveal for when we do the video. But we have been doing okay. We had that technology issue end of April through almost all of May. So we got off our schedule, but we're back to 3 weeks. So again, hope you enjoyed it. Hope you found it interesting, maybe a little informative. There you go. Appreciate your time and attention. I'd tell you that we're going to preview comments before they go up just to make sure that they're all appropriate and none of them are spam. But we don't seem to have the ability to do that. So just, don't, and if you don't flame us, everything's cool. If it's constructive criticism, cool. But otherwise, the comment will go away. And we do post a link to this on our Facebook page, Water Tiger Tai Chi. So it's a little bit more free range there, but it's the same thing. You flame us there and there'll be, trouble. What can I do? The administrator will just ban you and delete your comments. So thank you all for your time and attention. Hope you liked it. You'll catch us next time. Shay.